Hello, good morning and welcome to another review this morning. Obviously a look at what is ahead for us in the transfer window, whether that be today or in the coming days over this week. Obviously the window has been fast and furious from the very start, hasn't it? It's been non-stop since the word go, but it is now kicking up a gear for sure. So let's talk about a few things. Some big lines to come out. We'll be talking about Newcastle United moving on a target. Man United obviously making moves as well. How that affects Chelsea moving forward as well. Saudi are not done. Also, of course, Kieran Tierney at Arsenal. So let's crack on, shall we? First of all, Newcastle United, they're set to swoop for Harvey Barnes, obviously a player they very much want at the club. They're trying to negotiate a deal. I reckon this will get done around the £30 to £35 million mark. Leicester pushing for near that £40 million mark, but I think if you get to about the 30, you start getting add-ons, that deal starts to move forward. That is what I'm hearing could be happening over the next few days. So over this week that will happen. Could be today. You could see a fresh bid for Newcastle, an official bid of which there has not been yet for Harvey Barnes from Newcastle United. They very much like the Leicester winger and want to bring him in. Eddie Howe, a big fan of Harvey Barnes, has been for a long time. I reported that a while ago, as many of you who follow me would have seen. You would have seen it on Football Insider previously as well, and a fresh report coming out today on that as well. But Newcastle pushing for Harvey Barnes. They want to bring him in, and that does raise questions, doesn't it, about Alison Maximan's future. Newcastle have said before that they'd like to keep him at the club, a player that's very much valued. He's posting on the social medias about being home, back at the training ground, ready to go for this season. So all the signs coming out of the club are that St Maximan will still be at Newcastle come the start of next season. But of course, there's a long way to go in this window, isn't there? Just under 2 months left now, and there's still time for him to move. We shall wait and see what happens on that front. Manchester United, they're also doing big business at this point in time as well, aren't they? Andre Onana is going to be their new #1 goalkeeper. I would be surprised, as an opinion rather than what I'm hearing, but from what I'm hearing it's all very positive. I'd be surprised if he's not in a Manchester United shirt next season. That's now moving to a conclusion. Inter Milan looking for around that €50 million mark. I reckon this deal gets done for around the €40 million mark, potentially with add-ons there, so around the £35+ million for Manchester United to bring in the Inter Milan stopper. A real modern goalkeeper, isn't he? So good with the ball at his feet, moving that ball forward as well in transitions, starting the attacks, etc. for Inter Milan. And you've seen it in the final, his display. Many people kind of woke up to it then, didn't they, against Manchester City? But he's been consistently like that all season. A player that actually echoes a lot of kind of the past of David De Gea. When he arrived at Man United, had a lot of kind of errors in him. But Onana was a bit like that at Ajax as well, but has got better over time, of course, and is now proved to be Manchester United and Ten Hag's key target for the goalkeeper position. They're also going to go for a key target for the striker position. Rasmus Hojlung is more and more of a target for Manchester United. He has said that he's wants to move to Manchester United. He's told them he wants to go. So that is something that the player wants. Man United think they can get a deal done here as well. A real talent is the Danish international striker. Atalanta obviously are going to hold out for as much money as they possibly can for him. Of course they are. He's an incredibly good talent, incredibly good player, but Man United will move for him as well. Again, something reported on in the last few weeks previous was that we knew Manchester United were set to make moves for him, and they're going to do that. Also, could see some outgoings at Manchester United as well. The Harry Maguire saga continues, doesn't it? Will they get him out the door? He's on a massive wage. That could be a very difficult situation for them to resolve. Scott McTominay's future, Fred's future, many players who you could see leave the club as well. But how does Man United's business affect Chelsea? Well, Andre Onana leaving will give Inter Milan the funds for Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku obviously much wanted by Inter Milan. They want to have him at the club. They want to sign him permanently. The distance between the asking prices of clubs is so far quite a way away. However, the money that they receive from Onana, will allow them to push their offer up and therefore get closer to Chelsea's demands. I would expect Romelu Lukaku to be in an Inter Milan shirt next season. We know they had a loan bid rejected already, but they will like to try and get him permanently again over the next coming weeks. That's something you're going to see move as well. Once Onana happens, that domino effect that you often see in the transfer window, it'll allow them to have those extra funds to get that deal done. Potentially there'll be more deals for them if anything happens with Lautaro Martinez as well, liked by Pochettino and Chelsea, could potentially happen there. But also watch if Harry Kane does leave Spurs, which at this point in time Daniel Levy does not look like letting happen. If he does leave Spurs, Lautaro Martinez is a player that is very much liked by Tottenham Hotspur and would fit the Ange Postecoglou system perfectly, to be honest. So he is one to also watch in the coming weeks, especially when you find out what happens with Harry Kane moving forward. But like I said, at this point in time, Daniel Levy doesn't look like accepting that offer. However, Kane doesn't look like accepting the contract that's been placed in front of him, and he could leave for free next season. Any Spurs fans, what do you think Spurs should do? Should they sell him or should they let him go for free next year? Let me know in the comments below. Saudi, obviously the Saudi Pro League, we've seen them making big moves. Milinkovic-Savic set to go from Lazio now, another big name set to go over there. Jota moved from Celtic recently. Benzema obviously has gone as well, with a lot of other names from Chelsea, the Kantes and Koulibalys, etc. Mendy as well. But they're not done. My understanding is that they are getting ready for more and more action. The wheels have just started turning on that to get those players in. They're not just going for players who are coming to the peak or the end of their career. As you've seen with Milinkovic-Savic, they're going for big guns who they believe they can convince to come to Saudi. Players that you might not expect as well. So look out for this. Over the UK, not just England, around the UK, they have got multiple targets. With Steven Gerrard going to Al Ettifaq, that makes things really interesting for some of his ex-players as well. So keep an eye on Scotland over the coming week for some moves to Saudi Arabia as well. Things really heating up for them. Also, Kieran Tierney, speaking of Scotland, Kieran Tierney, the Scottish international fullback, has had a discussion with Mikel Arteta. It happened at the end of the week. I understand that to be Friday, over his future. That'll be clarified now over the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. I'll report on that as soon as I get it as well. A player much like by Newcastle United, who has been scouted by Newcastle United, watched by them. Also Manchester City have had a look at Kieran Tierney as well. A player that we believe would be keen to move closer to home. He does have a house in London. He bought his own home in London. He has settled down there, but certainly more playtime and the opportunity to be a star man is something that will be appetising to Kieran Tierney, I think, because with Zinchenko at the club as well, other fullbacks in that Arsenal side, the playtime might be dwindling for Kieran Tierney at Arsenal. And of course he's had his injury issues too. It's not just playtime. It's not just Arsenal's fault or Arteta not picking him. He's had his injury issues as well. That could be a problem for him getting a club in future too. But we shall wait and see in the coming weeks for Kieran Tierney. I think a move to Celtic, a move back to Celtic's been floated. Maybe a bit early for that at this point in time. He will be back at Celtic at some point. There's no doubt about that. But at the moment he's got the opportunity to make his money. He's on a massive wage of around £130,000 a week as well. Celtic certainly aren't going to match that anytime soon. But hey, madder things have happened in the transfer window. So we shall wait and see. Key days ahead, key moments ahead in this window now. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description. You can follow all the Football Insider links in the description as well. And good morning. Let's go again for another day of the transfer window. See you soon.